Please. So what are we talking about this week?
This might be a shorter episode, but I feel it's like pressing. We have something that we need to talk about.
Sure.
Because there's an impending, potentially awkward, bad situation in the world of superheroes. And this is...
I thought you were going to say you were pregnant.
Am I showing? Oh, man, you're glowing. No, it's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you've heard. Have you heard anything?
I try to stay out of hearing anything from superhero-related movies because I like to walk in and actually see the movie and not be ruined by trailers and bullshit.
Right. I try that, but it never works.
I'm pretty good at it.
I try that, but it never works. I want to see stuff. It'll probably be easier now. I kind of stopped watching some of those because shows that I watch would kind of weave certain stuff in. They would maybe talk about the trailer like a little bit, and I'd be like, I do want to see that, and I would end up watching the trailer. It would like snowball into itself or like whatever. But
I'm the guy that hears the trailer warning or the spoiler warning and actually does skip past.
They say skip to 25 minutes, and you're like, I'm not doing that shit.
I do.
Yeah. Now there were certain things that I've done blackouts for intentionally, but some stuff I either don't care. I'm so eager to hear more about it and see if I'm hype or not or whatever the fuck. But in general, it's kind of okay. I feel like a month ago, we were saying, man, Suicide Squad's not out for like a year, what the fuck? Or something like that. And now it's coming out Friday.
Yeah.
It's coming out now.
I do remember that.
I don't know. I feel like something crazy happened with like reality.
Mandela.
In the time since then, we've had comic book movies, superhero movies of varying degrees of quality from the major like studios. We've had Civil War, which I missed in theaters, but everyone says is great, and I assume is great.
I enjoyed it.
We've had X-Men Apocalypse, that I thought was like fine, and you kind of thought was fine too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And then we have Batman vs Superman, which was
I didn't enjoy it.
Which was a 2-hour trailer for a movie that we don't even think would have been good, and a 2.5-hour trailer.
It was like 8 hours.
It was, but you know,
it's like a Martian day.
Had cool parts in it, I guess. Fine, but we kind of left that being like, well, Suicide Squad has to be good, like.
Well, it has to be better than that just by default.
Well,
it doesn't necessarily have to be good.
No, I was going to say, well, Suicide Squad has to be good or else DC's kind of like fucked. And recently we've seen a trailer for Justice League, right? Did you watch that?
I did watch that.
Because I remember saying at the time I wasn't sure if this was to you or not, but it was like, the trailer was kind of long, maybe like 90 seconds or 2 minutes or longer.
I think it was
like,
over 2 minutes.
30 seconds in, I was feeling myself like, fuck, I'm gonna have to be like a sucker again who's like, fuck, this trailer is making me think this could be a good movie. I don't know, fuck, like I just keep getting bamboozled by these fucking trailers. But then by the end of the trailer, I was like, I'm gonna be the guy who's like, that trailer didn't trick me. I don't think this is gonna be a good movie. Oh fuck, again though, even more pressure on Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad has to be amazing now just to fucking save like DC's whole fucking thing. Right?
The only issue with any of it is that while they produced a really subpar, shitty movie, they still made $1 billion. So they're really not in any jeopardy. The only jeopardy would be, again, if Suicide Squad sucked too, you run the risk of people going, your movies keep being shit and then not going. But there's still going to be so many people that go to these things.
Well, people will, and people
Wars,
will go in China, and people just go because people go see Transformers. I'm not worried about DC like failing as like a financial institution. I'm worried about like just everything going to shit and this becoming like another Transformers series where everyone just like shakes their head and goes, "Oh God, why do you keep doing this?"
I would almost want some epic failure on their side, so it would force them to revamp it and actually approach it as a proper movie and do things well.
Like push the reboot sooner in the whole timeline of our reality here. Sure. So without getting into spoilers or doing anything like that, Twitter and various media outlets today are all aflutter with horrible reviews for Suicide Squad.
Perfect.
I don't know how much you want to hear, if you want to hear anything.
Well, I have a standing thing, and I don't really recall any reviewers' names ever. Yeah. But there's one for like the WB. His name is Sandy Canyon or something, or Kenyon. I think it might be Kenyon spelled differently.
Okay.
But
Sandy Canyon.
I think it's Sandy Canyon or Kenyon, whatever his name is. He's an idiot.
It's a dude. Or?
It's an idiot. Everything he's ever reviewed, I feel 100% the opposite of him.
Sure, exactly.
And I know if he gives it a bad review, I should see it. And there's a lot of people the same way, where a lot of reviewers are not your average moviegoer. They're not like me or you, who have hands send me on the pulse, I can actually talk some shit. It's mostly like, old dude, cushy job.
Yes.
I really liked that movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And you're like, what? What was the last movie of Jean-Claude Van Damme? Like, and that's a really bad example. It'd more like be Clint Eastwood or somebody, but they don't like superhero movies.
They don't make movies like they used to.
Yeah.
Back when Elizabeth Taylor was dazzling us on the screen.
Queen of the silver screen.
No, I totally agree. And there's that long, like, standing thing on Rotten Tomatoes sometimes you see, too, where it's like critics are like, fuck this movie, and like the people. Usually with comedies, though, where it's like, this is good. Fuck you, critics. You just don't know about fun. You know, or something like that.
But usually critics are smart too, so comedies that are not smart get bashed.
Like
while
farting
most
and stuff.
People in the world are dumb as shit, and they love that stuff.
The other factor is that reviewers, because like when you and me talk about video games or something like that, like me and like some of the other dudes in like the crew play like every video game. So something could be like, oh, this is cool, and it's like that's a mediocre, like B- version of this other better game, and you're like, well, I don't like space, I like cowboys, and it's like, oh fuck, I can't talk to you anymore, something like that. Because like people have different experiences. Movie reviewers see like every movie, so they're looking at things in a very warped way of looking at it. That all being said, these reviews seem like they're bad. So what we are here to be talking about is the possibility of Suicide Squad like sucking and what that's going to mean for this fucking thing. Because, shit, I assume they had a lot of plans and things going on, or whatever, with this whole universe.
Well, Batman vs. Superman being bad has prompted Ben Affleck to direct the next one. So, like, that was your answer for this. So if this is bad, it's not as bad as if, like, there was the possibility with Batman vs. Superman being bad that there would be no Justice League movie. Like, it could have been like, this you've ruined a franchise. I don't think that this being... even if this is a complete flop, I don't know how much this affects, because I don't know there would be no more maybe supervillain like, you know, one-offs that may happen after this.
Well, yeah.
This is the first supervillain-centric movie, I think, ever. So, like, that could, like, you know, they will construe this how they may. But just because this movie's bad doesn't mean all supervillain movies are bad.
Right,
like, there could clearly be 100 great supervillain movies, like, tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that this will be that.
And this is us talking about, like, maybe... Because wasn't Deadpool in, like, a bad group of people or something? They were talking... Not X-Force. They're not bad, right? They're anti-hero, Climax, whatever.
Kind of.
Yeah. But they wouldn't give a fuck about this movie failing, so everything should be fine.
No,
there, right?
Also a different franchise, a different company, a different owner.
We're talking about like the trends of like the industry.
I think
and how stuff
that
could go or
Marvel
something
has
like that.
proven that we don't give a fuck about trends type of thing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, not that that's a Marvel Sony franchise, but I don't think they can.
No. I mean, like something happens where like, well, because even the whole superhero thing in the first place, someone started making them, and people were like, oh shit, people want to see superhero movies. Let's everyone make a superhero movie. Oh fuck. Oh, do you want anything? Do I want anything? Fuck. You want to trade? Fuck you. And everyone started trying to jump on this like trend.
But that trend was really slow, because you had a lot of success with Superman.
Well, there was a gap.
With, you know,
there was
Reeves.
Like a crash in like the middle or whatever.
You didn't really have a lot until Spider-Man?
No, people argue, it was Sam Raimi and Bryan Singer, and even like Blade, but like the Blade thing was like no one even knows that's a comic book movie or whatever. Yeah. And so people kind of like retcon. They go back and say, "Oh, that was part of the first wave of things," and you're like, I don't know. But yeah, like Bryan Singer's X-Men was the one where you were like, "Oh, this is like a movie. There's action, there's humor, there's drama. Like it has all the things. It isn't just retarded." So like whatever. But no, I'm concerned because like these trailers looked cool, and like I was hoping it would be cool.
A while ago that every good thing was in the trailer and every funny line was in the trailer, and then they went back for reshoots to make funnier things happen after Deadpool was such a smash hit with its comedy. I was already a little hesitant.
There have been some rumors about badness and like concerning things going on. I was still holding out hope that things would be cool, but it seems like they might not be. Again, I don't want to spoil anything for you. They didn't. I read spoiler-free like comments and things because it's like literally not out yet, so people are actually trying not to spoil stuff. But they're saying like the beginning is exposition heavy, the plot is like repetitive and weird in like a weird way, and like certain things that you were like, oh, I can't wait to see that in the movie. Once you see it in the movie from the trailer, like you were just saying, you go, oh, well, fuck, is that the only time that happens? Fuck. It's just this whole thing. And I'm kind of like, oh. So long story short, I'm going to be going into this because I do want to see this movie with like lowered expectations or appropriate expectations. Sad. I may like it more as a result.
When a high budget movie puts its best things in the trailer, it's sad to me because I know why like low budget movies do that, because they don't have any other good scenes to cut to. You need to cut to something.
Right.
Okay, the explosion. And then when you're like 85% of the movie and it has an explosion, you're like, well, I bet that's how they killed the bad guy. Like, so,
or like the girl's back because you got the one girl to be topless in like your micro budget movie, and you want to show that there's nudity. Hey kids, there's nudity in my movie. Yeah. Like the cast looked good. The things looked good.
A lot of great people. Would have preferred Tom Hardy as.
Yeah, of course, but
he's doing a lot of fun, cool stuff.
He seemed to work in the trailer. The new guy, Jai Courtney, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not really a fan.
He worked. He's a little skinny for me. I don't know. Something his head's a little skinny.
He looked like deranged in an I don't know. I don't know much about these characters, and I was looking forward to like, oh, this will be a cool thing, and they'll do like, and maybe even if this movie is trash, you'll come away from it kind of like Batman vs Superman, saying, well, this person's performance was good, that person's performance was good, and then that will steer the direction to say, let's make things with those people and have them in. Well,
it's a cool franchise because you don't even need like all of them to come out. If you made a Justice League movie and you're like, oh no, we don't have these three characters, you'd be like, oh well, Superman, he's off in Venus fighting a blah blah, and Green Lantern's with the Corps over here. The Suicide Squad is a rotating group of characters that die and trade out it makes sense, and it's an easy franchise for that point. You could keep making movies with just a good plot and just be like, well, who can we fit in here? We need someone who does that. Okay, good, go.
Right. And each one starts with like a certain, it's like a formula where they get plucked out of their cells and then they get like, what the hell, again?
Or
and they go back or whatever because they've gotten back and they go, okay, deal the same as before, blah 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 blah. Yeah, no, and now I'm even more upset that this might be like a horrible movie because that sounds like such a cool franchise.
Will Smith has had a habit recently of picking really dud movies. So he used to be my Will Smith's on board. This movie's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, but he did just also say that thing where he's like, no, time to pick good movies.
That's the whole thing. Is like, there were rumors that his ego was kind of getting out of control, and then he like very swiftly was like, so like, what did he say? Like Wild West wasn't good, aka why I'm not in Independence Day 2. Also, I'm in this other movie coming up that's an ensemble cast that is not the Will Smith show, as my movies usually are for the last like 20 years. Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna be one of the guys on in the movie. It's gonna be cool. So people, we're kind of like, okay, cool. Will Smith is doing the whatever thing. So.
And I'm a Will Smith fan. I'm down for anything he does. I'll watch to see if it's garbage or not. Like, I'm not going to go, it's garbage, fuck Will. I like him.
Hell no, yeah.
I like most of this cast.
I know.
Seems like it has a winning ticket. We'll see how it turns out, and my fingers are crossed because I want it to be a good movie. I want every superhero movie to be good. There's none that I'm like, fuck yeah, DC, no, I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a Marvel guy, but I want DC to be good. I still enjoy DC. They put out some great stuff. Not recently, but they have put out some great stuff.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to get Marvel or anybody to be too comfortable and saying, well, we're the only ones doing it right. We can kind of do whatever we want. Let's just whatever. You want
them fighting, you're getting better, pushing envelopes. Things are getting awesome.
You want them to say, oh, shit, did you see? And, I think they want each other to be good, too, because, we talk about the idiots, the normal people, whatever. They don't know that there's all these different studios that have rights disputes and schedules, and they're all like spacing their movies out 3 weeks at a time for you. Like, they just say, I just saw a superhero movie that was kind of lame. I'm not going to go to this other one. That's just like their thought process. So you don't want bad movies in this genre to be out there, because then your nerdy nephew can be like, oh no, this is different, these fights in Gotham and this is in here, and you're like, I guess, I don't know.
And it's cool for me because you thought it was said that it's going to burn out. You can't have this many superhero movies going. Really, it's been pretty strong. I'm more worried about Doctor Strange than I am about Suicide Squad. I'll be honest there.
I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange.
It's not that I'm looking forward to it. It's that he's a character that I feel is less approachable than most characters. Yeah. He's less known than most characters, and it's a weirder Inception-y type of a movie that doesn't, grab your normal, there's idiot column A where they're like, I like smashing things. And then there's people that's like, I like any comic book. Oh, I love it. But they don't really like comic books. They just say they like comic books. Right. Then there's people that really like comic books. And, it'll catch on at least one of these things, but I feel like it has a chance to miss a lot.
Not the way like a Superman or like Wolverine or someone like that just smashes everything because everyone's heard of it. There's T-shirts, there's underpants.
Like Captain America. Yeah. If you don't like Captain America, are you a Nazi?
What are you, communist?
Like it really hit across all things. And like Cumberbatch is popular, but I actually don't like him as Doctor Strange.
Well, funny you should say that because during the first, have you seen the trailers? Do you?
I saw.
Are you under blackout?
I saw a trailer.
You might. So I think in every trailer, there's been a little of his like voice, and in like the very first trailer, I was a big fan of the show House, where someone else who has an accent is doing an American voice, and literally because they don't show Benedict Cumberbatch, it's just like a voiceover, and he's not saying something like. I am Doctor Strange. Oh, I, Doctor Strange, with the fucked up hands, are gonna go learn magic. Like, he doesn't say exactly that. It was just like, sometimes we must find within ourselves, like whatever. And I was like, is Hugh Laurie in this? What the fuck? And then, no, literally, that's Benedict Cumberbatch's American voice, which I've never apparently heard before. It sounds like House to me. And that's gonna be like, ooh, I didn't picture Doctor Strange or Benedict Cumberbatch sounding like that. That's a little, not that I'm, like,
something
picky
that's weird
about
for
this.
me, too, is like, would it have been the worst thing ever if he had a British accent?
I don't see why that would have mattered in the slightest.
Would anybody have cared at all?
No, right?
I don't think so. Would it have made it better and more natural? Probably.
And when you sign up for Benedict Cumberbatch, even when he's playing Khan or some crazy-ass character or whatever who's not, like, British, he brings a little bit of that, like, fake accent to it, and that's just how he talks, and he looks like a weird wall-eyed giraffe monster.
He's weird looking.
That's what people like now. Daniel Craig was James Bond, for Christ's sake. People like the weird-looking people.
But at least he's like jacked and like that stuff. Like
fit the part.
Like Cumberbatch is like a small little hobbity man. Like,
how tall is he?
He might be tall.
I thought he was tall.
He strikes me as just.
He doesn't have the presence.
Yeah, he's like a dweeb-looking dude.
I like him a lot as Sherlock.
Sherlock he's fine at. Yeah. But Sherlock is a dweeb.
Yeah.
Like.
Sure.
That makes sense.
An autistic dweeb.
I still prefer my, I can't fucking think of his name.
Your dream casting for Doctor Strange?
Well, I was gonna say I prefer Robert Downey Jr.
I was just gonna say people have said like that was the thing that the way things worked out. You couldn't have had him as that.
But no, I meant as Sherlock. I prefer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
If I were gonna cast Doctor Strange,
yeah.
I would do a recast, and I would take the dude that I don't know his name that played. I can't think of his name. Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four.
Oh, which ones? The new movie? The Jessica Alba movies?
Yeah, Jessica Alba movies.
Oh, that guy.
I like him a lot, and he's more of like the age range, especially now, and like he kind of looked like him anyway when they had him done as Mr. Fantastic. If you would have thrown on the goatee, I think he would have been
the
good.
Salt and pepper stuff. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know that guy enough to know if he would have the.
He's got chops. He was in some like
stuff?
some like Civil War movies and things. Like he's an actor.
He looks like that type of actor that would be in a bunch of stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, it's that guy or something like that.
But like, and we've proven you can recast people from the Fantastic Four because Chris Evans is does whatever he wants.
That's a great example. No, I think so. So part of the success, because you were saying like you're happy this whole thing didn't burn out or whatever, you know.
Of course.
I think part of the success with it was, in particular, Marvel's approach of making every movie like a different movie. I was just having this discussion with somebody about something. I keep touching my nose. I don't know what that's about.
Not even different movies, like different genres, like different like styles.
Yeah, because I was what was I? I defend Iron Man 3 and I defend Thor 2 a lot. Because people seem to hate those a lot.
I liked Iron Man 3 a lot.
I know you did.
I really liked it a lot.
It turns out that's Shane Black, the like director / cameo person from like Predator, who's been making all these like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and all these like cool movies forever, which I didn't even realize at the time that I was like initially defending it. We've discussed that in detail in some other video, but the point is like I've defended these movies to people who are like that was BS or whatever, or like Ant-Man blah blah blah, like wasn't what I wanted or something like that, and I'm like superheroes not like a like tiny little niche thing. It's now this entire like genre like comedy would be, where you can have a comedy like Rush Hour and you can have a comedy like Something About Mary, and a comedy like 50 First Dates or something like that.
Black comedies,
and there's gigantic
as in like
things.
a dark comedy.
I was just gonna say, and also black comedies like Soul Train and Barbershop, but like no, like it's a wide genre now, and like Thor 2 was like a sword and sorcery, like they fly through the city, and there's the guards with like the Stargate laser staff blasters, like it had this crazy feel, and like maybe that was like a solid B or like a B- of a movie. But when's the last time a movie in that genre came out that was above a C or whatever? We get like Gods of Egypt and all this fucking crap. Like it's great that like a B+ like funny heist movie of Ant-Man, like what was the last funny heist movie you saw that was like nailing comedy and action and giving you all this cool gadgetry and all that fucking shit?
It's kind of
that shit doesn't happen anymore.
How I wanted them to do the multiple Jurassic Park movies with Jurassic World, where I'm like, they could make every genre of movie take place in Jurassic
just
World
around the Jurassic
Park.
Park
And that's what they're
verse.
doing with superheroes, and that's smart because you have a subsect, a overall factor that everyone likes, and that's what you're taking, and you're like, okay, it's kind of like when people take a script from fucky McScriptwriter. What the hell is that guy? The British one. Fucking S.
Shakespeare?
Shakespeare.
Oh!
That motherfucker. It's like how they take a Shakespeare script and they go, okay, now it's in space. Okay, now it's a horror movie. Okay,
exactly.
now, and it works because good writing is good writing. A good idea is a good idea. You can take this, you can burn across the bed, and you can just keep going with it and never really worry about overlapping or taking anything else. So you're like, okay, I have a good heist script. All right, what if you did this?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Why not?
Because if it's good to begin with, it'll be good after the fact, and you're going to bring in millions more people because people like superheroes.
When everyone comes out of like Guardians of the Galaxy saying like, oh no, it's not just the Avengers in space. No, these characters are crazy. Oh no, crazy shit happens. Oh, and there's fucking I forget his name. Oh, like not the Road Hard guy, the guy who was the racing Bobby something. The fucking dude. I know his name
Shake and Bake.
His name is John C. Reilly, but what's the name of the character in that fucking thing? That guy is like, no, that guy's like Lieutenant O'Brien, Space Commander guy now or something. Like shit's crazy. It's fucking crazy. No, he got my dick note. Like all this fucking thing. Like it's just like fuck.
I'm very much looking forward to the sequel to that.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, no, there's a whole and that's where we have to look now apparently for like what to look forward to really hard is in the Marvel zone. I am super trepidatious about this Suicide Squad thing. Wonder Woman had a trailer too. Did you watch that one?
I did see that one.
That left me.
Everyone was all up about it. They're like, "Yeah, man, this is great." This trailer was lit, and I'm like, Chris Pine looked very out of place. It seemed weird. They dropped like a weird joke that came in after like the credits, where it's like, "Oh, so you're a slave," and I was like, "What the hell kind of jokes are these?"
Like a little pandering or something.
Yeah, I think she's good.
People seem to hate her. Like some people seem to hate her, and I'm like, this is fine.
Good.
This is working. This is one of the few things that is working. Stop picking that apart.
Yeah, she looks like a tough broad. Like I feel like she has that Xena quality, and that has maybe the best song.
I was just gonna say,
like entry music type thing of any of the new superheroes.
When you said people seem to like this, I'm like, they just like the end of that fucking song. They just like that. They don't even like the trailer because the trailer ends with that, I believe, and like the fanfare rises up or whatever. Yeah.
I'll see it, but again, it didn't really grab me. I like the period. I like where they're starting it. I think that's cool because I was worried because they introduced her in the Superman versus Batman movie. That was like, it's gonna pick up in like that area. You're not gonna get the true start of. But I'm like, no, they did. They rewound because she's been around. She does shit.
Yeah, and that's cool because like we're talking about with Marvel, now you get to do like a period piece with this movie. And
I love period pieces too because
like the first Captain America.
If you look back, the only time you could ever really do a good superhero movie is a period piece because it was so much easier to be a superhero because people didn't have all the answers. They didn't know everything. There were mysteries. You could just turn a corner and run and you're like, oh, where'd he go? I'll never be able to find him.
I know, literally. There's no infrared satellite fucking shit and cell phone technology. No, totally. Because you could even have like borderline, like not even great powers and put on the right costume and do the things and all that stuff.
That's why I want to see a Batman period piece because it would be amazing. If you think back, my favorite movies that take place, back in the day is The Phantom with Billy Zane.
Right.
because it's amazing and it all makes sense. You're like, all right, all you had to do is be a guy who's good with guns and has the physique, and you could be a superhero because your average dude can't do those things.
I know your list.
And The Rocketeer.
I was gonna say you have a great list. I don't like any of those movies. I'm just gonna let you go here.
They're so good.
There's more. It's not just The Rocketeer. There's another
Now you made me forget.
King. Okay.
Oh, Alan Quartermain?
I've derailed the whole thing.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Okay, there's a whole time period.
That movie gets so much shit. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is something that is like, and it's because people don't give it a chance. And I'm not even going to say watching it once is giving it a chance. I watched it once, and it's the only movie I almost walked out of a theater for. I didn't like it at all.
Wow.
I've seen it 100 times. I love this movie. I think I wasn't old enough to enjoy it the first time I saw it. I didn't give it what it needed as a movie. It's wonderful.
I think I saw it at like the perfect time. I want to shatter the suspense that's hanging in the air. I love that movie. I think I liked it the first time. It's one of those things like sometimes when you say I can see why people wouldn't like it, but I like it, and you feel like a certain shame where you're like I shouldn't like it either. Fuck the.
I have no shame. I feel the same way about that I do about Super Mario Brothers.
Well, but like here, I'm saying I can see why people wouldn't like it, but I'm only just kind of saying that because I'm like I guess those parts that I like didn't work for you. That you thought they were cheesy or the effects were bad or something, but I just took it for what it was, and I was like, this is so cool that it's like I have this weird. I'm not super into comic books, but I love like Vertigo and Image and all these weird fucking other comics because I grew up in a world full of Superman and X-Men and then all this other bullshit. So when I see like, oh, what's your superhero team? Oh, does he turn into rocks or something? What are those? Oh my god, that kid's clouds. I just walk around like this shit's great because it's like a totally different thing that I was not exposed to. So that's the same thing with this shit, where like you've heard of the Invisible Man and Dr. Jekyll and all that shit, but now you're seeing a weird superhero team.
It's such a cool combo.
It was awesome.
And like Alan Quartermain, like there's a series of movies with Alan Quartermain that I used to watch as a kid that rivaled Indiana Jones for me. In fact, I think I like them better than Indiana Jones. Not that they are better, but I like them better. And when Alan Quartermain was featured in this, now that like I was a little bit older, I'm like, oh my god, Alan Quartermain, he's all grown up. He's an old man now.
Do you remember who played Alan Quartermain in those old movies?
Oh god, I have no idea if he was even famous.
I can't think of them, so I don't remember if I ever even saw them.
You probably didn't. They were I think they were on channel like 11 a lot or 9.
Old school
I can't
channel
remember
11.
Who owned it, but super great. It was like Alan Quartermain and King Solomon's Mine was one movie, and Alan Quartermain and the Lost City of Gold.
That rings a bell.
Did that trigger it?
Now I'm thinking of Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone, same caliber though. And they were like, that was a time when you're young and you think the world is possibilities. You don't realize the whole world's been mapped.
I was just gonna say, like when people could explore and you could like turn like a stone thing and like a thing would slide open somehow and you could go into a tunnel.
But I wanted to be an adventurer so bad.
So
I was
bad.
born in the wrong time. I also hate going outside.
I want to be an adventurer so bad. I want to explore the jungles of Kilimanjaro if I don't have to leave the house.
But that's if that were an option, I think I would have been an outdoors person. Like if
you were just too discouraged by the.
Well, it was like, well, what's out there for me? Nothing.
What's out there? Pokemon to catch? Fuck that shit.
I'll go out occasionally.
Well, maybe I'll go out a little bit.
But period pieces, my favorite, especially when done well. So good. So yeah,
so maybe that'll be the bright spot.
I will watch it again to see how it goes. But
I'm kind of neutral on that now. I was hyped for Suicide Squad, and I'm low for Justice League. So now that Suicide Squad might actually be the worst. Like, oh fuck, the average is going so down. But as always, we'll see them, and I guess talk about it again after we see it.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Do you think these movies are going to be good, bad, shitty, indifferent? Have you seen the movies we talked about? Do you like period pieces?
Yeah, is it like months from now and all those movies are out and you've seen them all and we look like fools because Suicide Squad was great? No.
Or was it shitty? Did Wilson? All right, guys, until next time, don't die in a fire. Ting!